We trust our tools more than we realize until they stop working. And when that happens, creativity doesn't stop, it just shifts. Because when the automation fades, instinct steps in. The connection drops, but the story continues. This is the human algorithm, a reminder that even in a world driven by technology, we're still the ones behind the lens. You may remember from the last episode that I've been preparing for a big conference headshot project. The one I mentioned as a chance to streamline the entire workflow and let technology get out of the way so I could focus on the people in front of the lens. When I planned this headshot session, I wasn't just thinking about lighting ratios or backdrops. I wanted to test something much bigger. How far could artificial intelligence go when creativity met real-world chaos? No, not in a lab, not in a studio, but in a crowded, unpredictable conference space. So, my plan was simple. Integrate AI tools directly into my headshot workflow. Once integrated, the system handled background cleanup, enhanced images in real time, and recognized poses automatically. The kind of assistance that promises speed without sacrifice. The kind that claims to think with you. There was a certain thrill in that. This was more than a shoot. It was an experiment in trust. Trust in the code. Trust in the network. Trust in the invisible systems that are starting to shape our creative instincts. My goal was to see if AI could keep up with the pace of real human interaction. Could it adapt when subjects moved, when expressions changed, when the light shifted? Could it make the process smoother without losing the soul of the portrait? As the crowd grew and the first subject stepped in front of the lens, I had the quiet confidence that everything was synced. The software dashboard looked solid, the Wi-Fi connection steady. And for a moment, it all felt perfectly aligned. Until, of course, it didn't. The network blinked. The Wi-Fi dropped just long enough to freeze the dashboard and silence the automation. The connection cut off the lifelines of my setup, the automated subject recognition, the AI retouching, the workflow that quietly handled details in the background. For a brief moment, everything went still. The smart tools stopped being smart, and the system went silent. But I stayed calm. This was why I had a plan B. I switched the smartphone into hotspot mode, a small act that changed everything. Within moments, the system reconnected just enough to identify who I was photographing, the essentials that kept the flow moving. The rest, the AI enhancements, the automated retouching, would have to wait until later when I was back at the hotel where the connection was steady. The subjects never noticed. They kept chatting casually under the hum of overhead lights and the soft whir of nearby booths, unaware the system had hiccup. They just saw composure, a photographer in rhythm, adapting without missing a beat. And in that moment, I understood something. Reliability isn't perfection. It's the ability to recover gracefully. The workflow I built for efficiency turned into a study in adaptability. Every interruption became an opportunity to think differently. I let go of the automation that wasn't available and leaned into what was: human timing, intuition, and presence. Sometimes technology teaches us not by performing, but by failing. By the next day, the setup was smoother, the hotspot ready, the plan refined. The tools worked, but this time I worked with them, not through them. The portraits that followed carried something different: a sense of rhythm between control and surrender. That night, back in the quiet of my hotel room, the hum of the day finally settled. The screens came back to life, dashboards glowing, the automation cue catching up. Every image I shot offline began to process, each one passing through the algorithms I had designed to assist me. The work was resuming, but I realized the real progress had already happened, long before the signal returned. Technology had done its part, but the interruption revealed something deeper. It reminded me how much of this process still depends on human judgment, timing, and grace under pressure. The AI could clean the edges, perfect the tone, balance the light, but it couldn't read the room. It couldn't sense the moment when someone relaxed their shoulders or laughed between shots. This was still my domain, the part of storytelling that technology can't duplicate. What the AI taught me, echoing the adaptability I learned back in the conference space, wasn't about perfection. It was about patience. It reminded me that automation should amplify creativity, not define it. That every tool has its place, but the story still belongs to the human behind the lens. We talk about machine learning, but what I experienced was creative learning. The next morning, as I packed my gear, the system ran better, stable enough to trust, even if not flawless. But my focus had shifted. I wasn't seeking perfection anymore. I was gaining awareness of how far we've come and how much of the craft still lives in human intuition. The experience left me thinking, as AI becomes more capable, maybe the real question isn't what it can do, but what it should do. That's where we'll go next. In the end, a reflection on the human side of visual storytelling. That's the balance: trusting the algorithms to handle what they can and trusting ourselves to see what they can't. The technology may frame the moment, but only we decide what it means. If technology can learn, can it also know what's right? That's the question I'll explore in our next episode, a conversation about AI, ethics, and the artist's responsibility. So, if this episode resonated with you, share it with another creator who's navigating that same space between creativity and technology. These conversations help all of us stay grounded in what really matters, the human side of visual storytelling. And if you'd like to keep exploring that intersection, follow Shutter and Algorithms wherever you listen. Please visit shutterandalgorithms.com and click the Share Your Thoughts link to leave me a message. Every story here reminds us that innovation starts with instinct and ends with connection. I'll catch you on the next episode.